paid $10,000 in debt in just 12 months, and I didn't have to sacrifice a lot to do it. Welcome to Sauce on My Finances, where I teach you financial freedom through my experience and a little bit of research. So here's the story. Late last year, I was looking at my finances and I just wasn't completely satisfied with where I was in terms of debt. So I sat down and I was like, I gotta come up with a plan. And I came up with a pretty good one. So the debt that I had was 2 credit cards and a 401k loan that I actually initially took out to pay one of the credit cards initially. Crazy work, I know. So I was like, okay, let me come up with a plan. And the tools that I use were completely free. So the strategy that I came up with has 4 pillars. First, create a budget. Second, we have snowball payment method. Third, we have smart sacrifices. And last but not least, consistency. So first, let's start out with how I actually budgeted over the course of the year. For me personally, I budgeted twice a month. You can do this however you would like, whether you get paid once a month, twice a month, or weekly. Just depends on how you get paid. You choose what works for you. The importance is that you know your income versus your expenses. And I mean all of your expenses. Once you have that, you're good to go. So when I calculated my numbers, my expendable income came up to around $500. But as the year went on, obviously that number grew as I paid off more and more debt, which leads me to the second pillar, the snowball method. So all that means is I paid off my smallest debt and I worked my way up to the largest debt. It goes hand in hand with creating the budget. So once you create your budget, go ahead and create another tab where you have all your debts listed out smallest to largest. So as you can see here, the 2 credit cards that I had were a Target card and a Capital One card, and my 401k loan. The total sum came up to $9,729.77. That's roughly $10,000. And as you can see, I'm tracking that twice a month as well. At this point, I wasn't really worried about the car loans or the student loans. I knew that was going to be a goal for next year. So for me personally, which may be different from a lot of other people in this space, I also wanted to continue saving money while I paid off debt. It may not have been as much as I could normally save, but something was better than nothing. Now moving on to the third pillar, make smart sacrifices. So for me, this meant not going on any extravagant trips, especially international ones, not really buying any new clothes unless I absolutely needed them, and if I could, find cheaper alternatives. I think it's also important to note that if something came up and I absolutely had to spend money on something else, I would just go ahead and take care of that situation and pay what I could that month on my debt repayment. So really, if you think about it, all of these smart sacrifices, that just really helped me create a mindset shift. I wouldn't go backwards, get into more debt, and be back at square one. And last but not least, we have consistency. The main thing here was to not become obsessed over debt repayment, but just to remain consistent and do the things that I needed to do to ensure that I met my goal. So for instance, consistency looks like when you get a paycheck, go ahead and pay off your debt line item. Whatever that amount was for you, go ahead and pay off the debt and you can forget about it. Another way I was consistent was tracking my progress. My spreadsheets, I tried to make sure that I always updated them twice a month, and it kept me going and it really kept me motivated. So in conclusion, being fed up with my financial situation, that's what really made me lock in and finally pay off the debt that I needed to in 12 months. So as you can see, debt payoff can really be simple and easier than you think. You just gotta really sit down, look at your numbers, know where you are, and come up with a plan. It honestly feels like a huge weight off my shoulders. I feel like I can breathe and I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel to financial freedom. So if you like the video, go ahead and comment down below some of your debt repayment plans or any topics that you think I could discuss, and we'll make that video. I look forward to have conversations with you, and I'll see you in my next video.